Anybody with a smartphone is able to go ahead and do a live broadcast on their phone. Like right now, I'm live via Facebook, but there's a danger with posting any information live or even tweeting it. If you don't have all the facts straight, it can be dangerous. I'm on Highway 138, just 3 miles west of I-15. Both those highways completely shut down, and here's the exact reason why. Take a look at just how devastating this fire is. Completely destroying this home, the structure next to it. All the homes in this area seem to have burned down or are currently on fire. And now it's really starting to get terrifying as I head straight towards the ground, and woo-hoo-hoo! Oh boy, that's scary. Okay. Whoa! Okay, when the rocking happens, that's terrifying. And this is definitely the scariest right here as the blood rushes to my head. We were told by people that were text messaging their family members inside that they were sectioning people off as to people who witnessed the shooting and other people who just happened to be in the building at the same time. We were also told that they are going to, once they finish the interview, they're going to let those people out one at a time after they take their photograph. Well, John and folks at home, let's start with a little history lesson with how live broadcasts used to work. Well, it all starts with this old-fashioned camera right here. That's connected to a malt box at the bottom. That's where you get your video and your audio to the live truck, and that all goes to a big old dish on the top of that mast that sends a microwave signal out for people to go ahead and see the live broadcast at home. But all that's been replaced by this cell phone right here, and that's how the Indio Police Department is going to take advantage of technology to get you the latest information for Coachella. Well, Patrick, I gotta tell you, you weren't kidding about how dangerous these winds are. I am getting pelted with sand and water from this golf course here, and you can just see it's difficult for my cameraman and myself to even remain standing. The winds are just so powerful and gusting through here. They've actually created a very dangerous situation for the Wet and Wild water park. Many of the witnesses that took the stand today were there to establish the scene of the crime, where 3 murdered bodies were found badly burned in the town of Pinyon Pines. Take a look at the video we shot inside the courtroom today. Not a dry eye could be found in the entire convention center. Probably one of the most emotional moments in the history of Palm Springs, as thousands gathered to remember these fallen heroes. This is where they have gotten that 22% containment, and towns like Hesperia and Summit Terrace, those are places where people have been allowed to return to their homes. And not heeding those evacuation orders is incredibly foolish. Just look at how quickly these flames are moving through this dry brush. Just in the hour that we've been here in Lytle Creek, I've seen this fire here along this roadside move easily 2 acres. Looks like I got bit a little earlier in the day. Started to turn into a zombie, but I think I found the cure. It turns out if you eat a bacon-wrapped hot dog, starts to reverse the effects of being a zombie. Some kids might start off crying when they sit on the camel, but as soon as the camel takes that first step, boy oh boy, all those cries go away, and then they're only crying when they have to get off the camel. Search and rescue crews on the ground are having to deal with some very difficult conditions. As you can see, there are boulders all over the place, along with cactus, and on top of that, they have to deal with the local wildlife.
Joe Galli is with our live mobile newsroom at the scene with the very latest. Joe, what can you tell us?
Well, Karen, according to the Palm Springs Police Department, this all started as a call into a domestic dispute that then turned into a high-speed chase into a crash. I'm going to give you a live look right now at what we're seeing right here. You can see there are 2 vehicles that are almost completely wrecked, as well as 1 traffic signal. Now, according to the Palm Springs Police Department, they were responding to a domestic violence call just a few blocks away from this intersection. We're on Sunrise and Racket Club. 2 people were in one of these 2 vehicles. We're still not sure which one, and then took off, led police on a chase that went up to 75 miles per hour and then ended up in this crash. Not exactly sure how the crash happened. This is very early on in this investigation, but you could see this red Dodge Dart. It hit with such force that it actually removed a passenger side tire and a driver's side tire, one on the front and one on the back of the car. If you look over there to the gray Honda Civic that was also involved in this crash, significant damage to the side of it. The side curtain airbags were involved there. According to PSPD, at least 1 person was treated with minor injuries. It could be 2, because when we arrived on scene, I saw an older woman who was also getting bandaged up on her arm, but it didn't appear that she needed to go anywhere with an ambulance. But we do know that 1 person was transported with an ambulance. And look at the force in which this struck. If you look over here to the right, you could see an entire traffic signal was completely destroyed. So obviously they were traveling at a very high rate of speed before this crash. As you can see, the intersection here on Racket Club, East-west, that's shut down right here at Sunrise. They have just opened up northbound and southbound travel on Sunrise Way, so that's just opened up right now. And of course, we're waiting on a lot more information from PSPD as far as to why they were responding to that domestic violence crash and if anybody's been arrested. And of course, we'll let you know all that information right here and online at KESQ.com. For now, reporting live in Palm Springs, Joe Galli, News Channel 3.
Joe Galli is in San Bernardino right now with our live mobile newsroom after talking to those closest to the two victims. Joe.
Well, John, even hours after the candlelight vigil, people continue to come to North Park Elementary School and leave mementos at the memorial you see behind me, remembering an extraordinary teacher and a loving child. Hundreds joined together for song and prayer at North Park Elementary, remembering the lives of 8-year-old Jonathan Martinez and educator Karen Smith, who were killed on Monday, victims of a murder-suicide.
We have to remind ourselves we have a job to do in their honor. Again, let's make sure we honor both of them by doing what's right, continuing to love, enjoy, work, and stay with each other, and encourage everybody just to be good citizens.
Many in the crowd were students at North Park Elementary. They said what happened on Monday was terrifying.
Me and my teacher looked out the window and saw the kids running. My teacher went outside the door and the principal said, "Go back inside and lock the door." First we were worried. I was really terrified because all my classmates were talking while we were on the floor under our tables.
Parents brought their children in hopes of starting the process of moving on.
Because I needed my son to have closure, you know, knowing the teacher, I needed him to see that we need to support this school because it's a really good school.
The crowd was filled with educators and some members of Smith's family, fighting back tears on a solemn night.
Oh my goodness, it's been devastating, absolutely devastating. So every time I think about it, but Karen was a beautiful person, beautiful, oh my goodness, so it's hard. I remember her children as well.
Candles may go out in the wind and prayers end with amen, but the memories of these two individuals will live on as people continue after another shocking, senseless act of violence in the city to stay San Bernardino strong. The school district will continue to offer counseling to students and faculty. And the other child who was also shot in the classroom is recovering very well at Loma Linda Hospital. Reporting live in San Bernardino, Joe Galli, News Channel 3. Well, Karen, when you think about Big Bear and you think about the Big Bear area, you definitely think about camping, and that's certainly what hundreds of firefighters are doing on this softball field right now at Big Bear High School. They've pitched a bunch of tents. That's where they're going to go and catch some Z's after about a 16-hour shift of fighting the fire, which is just on the other side of Sugarloaf Mountain. Let's take a look at a map of where we are right now. As you can see, we are just west of the front lines, and the high school is kind of the best place to set up the command center. And I tell you, the community out here really has stepped up to help these firefighters out.
The terrain out there is really tough. We're talking 10,000 foot elevation at the most, and sometimes they're hiking up 2,000 feet a day or more. They're out there for 16 hours. They're really going to the T on this.
The lake fire has certainly been no picnic for firefighters, but they are making good progress.
We have no structure loss, and that's great. That's awesome. We did have to wrap a few historical structures the past 2 days as a precautionary thing, just in case the fire does come into that area.
Well, this is the kind of tough terrain we're talking about. Firefighters having to hike up hills just like this one, in many cases, ones that are a lot steeper, and then they've got to encounter tripping hazards like this one here that could be on fire. Big Bear High School turned into a command post where hundreds of tents are set up for firefighters so they can catch some Z's between shifts.
This was logistically the best spot for the camp, for the firefighters. It's big enough. We've got here again the gymnasium for day sleeping. It's close to the fire, so we're not putting the firefighters in a longer time of travel. This just was the best spot, and they moved their whole graduation to do that.
Local residents showing their support, especially on Father's Day.
they gathered cards, Father's Day cards, and they gave one to each dad. These cards are filled out by the people in the community, and it just really touched us. We're out here working, missing our kids, so it just really made it extra special.
The firefighters want to give a big thank you to everybody who came out and everybody who's continuing supporting them as they do this incredibly hard and dangerous work. It is really treacherous up on that mountain. The good news is no new evacuations have been ordered at this time. The fire is primarily burning in a lot of wilderness area on the other side of the mountain, so no new structures being threatened, at least at this time. For now, reporting live in Sugarloaf, I'm Joe Galli for News Channel 3.